Alright, we're recording 3-5, solving quadratics by completing the square. When should we complete the square? Example 1. I agree completely. Alright, x squared plus 4x plus 5. Alright, first of all, can I factor x squared plus 4x plus 5? Are there factors of 4? What? X squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 25. Alright, I misspoke then. Are there factors of 4 that equal 4? Signs are the same, both positive. Well, 4 and 1 equals 5. So maybe I was just ahead of myself. How about 2 and 2? Yes. So I could factor this into x plus 2, x plus 2. Is there another way I could write x plus 2 times x plus 2?
X plus 2.
Perfect, whoever said that, thank you. Good job, Jojo. X plus 2 squared equals 25. Is 25 a perfect square? And is x plus 2 a perfect square? Yes, because it's being squared. So what can I do to both sides now? Okay. Alright, so what happens to the square and the square root? They go away. It's like they're talking during my lesson and they're about to go away. X plus 2. And what's the square root of 25?
5.
You're half right. Yep, plus or minus 5. That is the most correct answer. Alright, so do I really need the parentheses over here on the left-hand side now? No, so I'm just going to rewrite it so I don't confuse people, like myself. So how do I get rid of the minus 2 now? It's already a plus 2. Okay. And what do I subtract 2 from? 5 and the, so we do 5 minus 2, which is 3, and then we do negative 5 minus 2, which is negative 7. So x equals 3 and negative 7. That's where it would cross the x-intercepts if we were to graph it. So that's just another way of solving for our x-intercepts, roots, or solutions. Do you need it moved up, Jonna? Hi. I can do that. Try this one on your own, please. Is 169 a perfect square? Do you know what it is? 13. Good job. Just a little bit of a hint for you. All right, carry on. Good job. All right.
Middle number goes first. 24.
We need factors of 144 that equal 24. What's the first factor of 144 that pops into your head? There's 12 plus 12 equal 24. All right, there you go. You just pretty much did it. All right, since we're trying to make it through the entire lesson today so that tomorrow's a complete homework day, I'm just going to move on. This is going to be x plus 12 squared, correct? Equals 169, because I needed factors of 144 that equal 24. 12 and 12 equal 24. That's how I got that, for those of you confused. All right, so this is a square. The opposite of square is square root. X plus 12 equals, what is the square root of 169? Half right. Plus or minus 13. So now, how do I get rid of a plus 12? Very good. I subtract or minus 12, so I'm going to have 13 minus 12, and I'm going to have negative 13 minus 12. So 13 minus 12 is 1. Negative 13 minus 12 is negative 25. Congratulations, you are done. Not bad. I'm starting to wake up now. It's closer to 9 o'clock, so it's making more sense to me. So, all right, here we go. Let's try another one. We're now on to example 2. Can I go on? Does anyone need more time? All right. Example dos. All right, just one step harder. X squared plus 14x plus 49 equals 192. I have bad news for you. 192 is not a perfect square. 194 is, I think. No, 14 times 196. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Hold on. 14 times 14 is 196. Yep. All right, but is 49, what's the factors of 49? Does that equal 14 when you add them? Yes. So this is going to factor into x plus 7 squared. Who's very sweet? Oh, okay. That's not what I hear. All right. So how do I get rid of the square? Okay. All right, so now we need to find the square root of 192, and unfortunately you cannot put that into your calculator and get a decimal number. We want the exact number. Does 2 go into 192? Does it end in an even number? So 2 does. Does 3 go into 192? Add them up. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Does 3 go into 12? So 3 goes into it. Let's see if 2 goes into it and 3 goes into it, what other number goes into it? 6. 6 does. So we're going to do 6 and 32. For 6, I'm going to do 2 and 3. Now, I know a lot of you would want to do 4 and 8, God bless you, Otter, would do 4 and 8, but there's a bigger number that goes into 32. Do you know what bigger number goes into 32? 16 and 2. Thank you, whoever said that. And is there a perfect square that goes into 16? 4 and 4. So now what we're looking for is twins. Are the 4s twins? So they get out. Are the 2s twins? So the 2s get out. And what happens when they get out of the radical? They make like little bunnies and multiply. And then hop away. All right, so what is 2 times 4? 8. All right. And did the 3 have a twin? So the 3 went to jail. Now, what happened to the square and the square root? They canceled out, correct? So now we have x plus 7 equals plus or minus 8 square root 3. Do we want to solve for x plus 7 or do we want to solve for x? Let's solve for x. How do I get rid of a plus 7? Okay. After a few of them, it's not that bad. X, what?
What happened to the 16?
It broke down into 4 and 4, and as soon as we got twins, we stopped. Or if you wanted to, you could have broke that down into 2 and 2, and that into 2 and 2. But then that would have got out, that would have got out, and that would have got out. What's 2 times 2? Times 2. So the same thing.
Why did the 2, 3, and 3?
Well, the 3 did not get out of the radical because it doesn't have a twin. So, but the 2's got out, the 2's got out, and the 2's got out because they're all twins.
But so the only reason why the 3 went to jail is he didn't get broken down.
He didn't get it. He doesn't have a twin.
And then why did the 16 go to jail?
16's not in jail. The only thing in jail is 3.
The 16 can break down.
into 4 and 4, or 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Good job. All right, so we subtracted 7, so minus 7 plus or minus 8 square root 3. That's our final answer. I know, that looks mean and ugly. It doesn't look very sweet, that's for sure. All right, this is a check problem. This one's easier than the last problem, I promise. All right, try that one with your table mates, please. And I'm going to induce more caffeine to try to wake up some more. Yes, sir. Because this tells you your signs are the same. This tells you they're both negative. No, but 3 and 25 goes into it. Or not 3 and 25. Is it 7 and 25 goes into it? Sorry. My smart board was distracting me. Yep, unfortunately with the smart board, it works at its own speed. If I could, I would. Don't call her ugly, that's mean. Who did? Hold on. I did not. How do you figure?
You said like one of the ugly is like me. And you're like, it's ugly and me and not very sweet.
Oh, that is a stretch. I was talking about the equation. I have it on video. We can go back. Have you seen that commercial where they throw the red flag and review what was said and done? We can do that.
Okay.
We'll do that next week as like a detention.
Not next week. Detention police.
For lying.
Lying. Lying.
Yes. They get out. Only one of them gets out.
The 7 was saying, right?
I'm sorry?
The 7 was saying, right?
Yeah.
Is it 7 in jail?
Yes. Wait 30 seconds and I'll go over it. It's 175, not just 75. Sorry, the smart board was in the way.
That's fine.
All right, we need to move on because I want to get all the way through the lesson today so that tomorrow can be purely a homework day. So let's get going. Jono, what's wrong? What are your factors of 64 that equals 16? What are your factors of 64 that pops into your head right away? 8 and 8. This tells us the signs are the same. This tells us they are both negative. So x minus 8 squared equals 175. Are you good with that? Yeah. All right, so now we have to square root both sides. So that gives me x minus 8 equals, we need to break this down. What goes into 175? 25 and 7. What goes into 25? So are they twins?
Yes.
They get out of our radical. Does the 7 have a twin? So it goes. So x minus, easy back there. You're awful excited for it to go to jail. So x minus 8 equals plus or minus 5 square root 7. There, it's in jail. You happy? Are we done? Yes. Because this tells us our signs are the same. This tells us they're both negative. No, that's a good question. All right, how do I get rid of a minus 8? Perfect. So my final answer is going to be x equals 8 plus or minus 5 square root 7. All right, so have we even talked about completing the square yet today? And that was the title of our lesson, so guess what we should probably do? Let's do that. We can do it tomorrow instead. Actually, it kind of is. So, but I would rather make it through the lesson. I can show you that later. All right, so this is example 3. All right, so we have x squared plus 8x plus 5 equals 0. Are there factors of 5 that equal 8? Your only factors of 5 are 1 and 5. Does that equal 8? So first of all, this will not factor. So if it doesn't factor, that's when we can do completing the square. So let's figure out how to complete the square. What's that? So, step 1. Isolate. What does isolate mean? Get by itself. Good job. The x squared plus bx. And remember, it's really ax squared plus bx. So the purpose of this problem, what would be my ax squared and bx? It would be x squared plus 8x, correct? So how do I get rid of a plus 5? Perfect. So what I would do is x squared plus 8x equals negative 5. So all I did is move the negative 5 to the other side of the equal sign. Step 2, find half of my b term, half of b. You are correct. So I take my b term, which in this case is 8, and cut it, divide it by 2, and that gives me 4. Step 3, square the b term. So that would be 4 squared, which is, here we go. We have 2 steps left. Add to both sides. So we're adding our new b term to both sides of our equation. So we keep the x squared plus 8x, and what did we just find out was our new b term? So I have to add it to both sides. Yep, because it's half of our b term, half of 8 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. Oh, I'm going to combine like terms right here because that's good math to do that. And I don't want JoJo to yell at me for doing bad math. Negative 5 plus 16 is 11. So all I did is combine the negative 5 and 16, and we have 1 step left. What's up, Brooke? Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a bit of a slacker and only comes to school like once a week. Oh. But I'll give it to her. She's here. Okay. All right. So what's our next step? Solve for x. Step 5. Solve for x. So right now we have x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 11. Will this factor, will the left side factor now? That's why we do completing the square, because now it will factor. So what are my factors of 16 that equal 8? Yep, so x plus 4 squared equals 11. How do I get rid of the 2? I square root both sides. So now I have x plus 4 equals the square root of 11. Does anything besides 1 and 11 go into 11? So we can't really do anything with it. Have we solved for x? How do I get rid of a plus 4? So x equals negative 4 plus or minus square root 11. That's your final answer. All right, try this one with your table mates, please. And actually, I have good news. We're going much faster than last period did, so we have one more example after this, and then we're done, and tomorrow will be a homework day. So whereas tomorrow they have to do one more example. Also, you're going to have an extra credit assignment on completing the square over break, if you want to do it. All right, 2 more minutes, and we're going to go over this. All right, give me 1 minute. Let me look and see what size lead this is. Oh. Elise, will 0.5 work or no? Does it have to be 0.7?
It says 0.7.
I don't think I can help you then. I'm sorry. All right, let's go over this. First, step 1 was isolate ax squared plus bx. So what do I do to the plus 3? Step 2, half of b. What's half of 2? What is 1 squared? 1. So half of negative 2 was negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So add that to both sides. Okay, so far so good. And now solve for x. Will this factor now? Yes, that's why we complete the square, so this will factor. We need factors of 1 that equal negative 2. X minus 1 squared equals negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. Oh, we have an ugly negative. All right, how do I get rid of the square? So now that gives me x minus 1 equals the square root of negative 2. What do we do with square root of negative 2? Do we like negative radicals? So how do we get rid of it? You have two of them? I. Yes, we use I to get rid of it. So this splits into square root of negative 1 and square root of 2. Does that remotely sound familiar? All right, and what is the square root of negative 1 the same as? So right now I'm just going to go over here. X minus 1 equals plus or minus I square root 2. How do I get rid of a minus 1? Add 1. X equals 1 plus or minus I square root 2. That's your final answer. Which part were you supposed to know? All of it, because we just did it. It's step-by-step directions right here. All right, we have one more problem for today, and then we're done. Maybe we'll do a check. We'll see how this goes. Maybe. All right, we are on example 4. This is only one step harder. That's it. There's one extra step. I wouldn't say it's harder. It's just one extra step. All right, so solve 4x squared plus 56x plus 260 equals 0. First of all, what's your A term? 4. So are we allowed to do completing the square if our A term is anything but 1? No. So what do you think we do to make our A term 1? Divide by 4. I like that. Well, will all of these divide by 4? Yes. All right, 4 divided by 4, I believe, is 1. All right, 56 divided by 4. Well, if I take 56 and cut it in half, I get 28. If I cut it in half again, I get 14. So that's going to be 14. That's a way to divide by 4, is cut it in half and then cut it in half again. 260 divided by 4, cut it in half, I get 130. Cut 130 in half, and I get 65. I didn't even need my calculator for that. I thought I did. All right, are there factors of 65 that equal 14? Probably not. So we can check 13 and 5. That does not equal 14. So that's the only thing I know of that goes into 65 off the top of my head. So what we have to do is complete the square. So let's follow our step-by-step directions. Isolate ax squared plus bx. All right, step 2, take our b term, cut it in half. What's half of 14? And square it. What is 7 squared? And we need to add that to both sides. Negative 65 plus 49 is negative 16. Oh, okay. So can I write this as a perfect square now? The perfect square trinomial, x squared plus 14x plus 49. My factors of 49 that equal 14 are 7, right? So x plus 7 squared. Yes, it would be x plus 7, but it's just easier to write as x plus 7 squared equals negative 16. So now to get rid of the square, we square root it. All right, I'm just going to go over here to try and keep this somewhat neat. What do I have to do when I have a negative square root? Yep, so square root of negative 1 and square root of 16. What does square root of negative 1 the same as? I. And what's the square root of 16? Plus or minus 4. So we can combine this together as plus or minus 4i. Almost. We don't have x by itself, do we? No, we have x plus 7. But this part's easy. How do I get rid of a plus 7? And what goes first, the real or the real or the imaginary? Yeah. That is your final answer. Negative 7 plus or minus 4i. All right, we have 9 minutes left in class. Let's do a check. And then we're done for today. And the good news is no notes for tomorrow, just the assignment. Yes, and you'll have all Thanksgiving break to do it. All right, let's try this one. 2x squared plus 12x plus 4 equals 0. So what was step 1 when a is not 1? Divide it. Yep. And I'm going to take a tendance. All right, 2 minutes. I'm going to not so randomly call on someone to help me solve this. Oh, you're volunteering to go over it? Okay. Uh-huh. All right, hold on. Well, let's just do it together.
Okay.
All right, so you said divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. X squared plus 6x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, what's your question? Well, what do we have to get rid of first? What's our second step? Or what's our first step? Isolate the ax squared plus bx. So we have to get rid of the 2. So how do I get rid of a plus 2? You're not wrong. So your next step is find half of your b term, half of 6 is, and then square it. What's 3 squared? So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. That sounded like an encouraging, I see now.
Yeah.
All right, so now this is going to factor. That's why we do completing the square. What are my factors of 6 that equal 9? 3. So x plus 3 squared equals negative 2 plus 9, which is, I get 7. Did someone have a question as we go? Yes. What part? All right, are you good to hear? Okay, so hold on just a second then, Johnny. All right, Jonna, what do I do next? We're solving for x, right? Do we like that little 2 that's there? So how do we get rid of it? What's the opposite of squaring? Yeah, square root. Good job, Annalise. All right, so that's going to give us x plus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 7. Johnny, you good with that? All right, now how do I get rid of a plus? Will 7 break down? The only thing that goes into 7 is 1 and 7. No one's getting out of our radical. Sorry, Jonna, I know that upsets you. So, or no, does that make you happy no one got out of jail?
Like I want it in jail.
All right, well, it's in jail. There's no getting out.
Okay.
All right, so how do I get rid of a plus 3? From both sides, right? So x equals negative 3 plus or minus square root of 7. So, Johnny, did you get that?
There's no ice.
No, that we didn't have a negative. We didn't have a negative radical.
I forgot to